Hello everybody, Big Planes here, and I know I have not been super active lately over the past few days on YouTube, but that's for a very, very good reason, and the reason is sitting right in front of you. This is the wing for the 727. Now, I have been working over the past few days here, trying my hardest to build this wing. You can see it's sort of a mess over here, and I actually have a surprise for that later, but yeah, okay, we have a wing, and it's actually pretty near completion, and I've already ordered parts for the fuselage since I want this project to move along pretty quickly here. So, yeah, I'll just talk about what I've done here. Now, a lot of you know that I do really like to include flaps on my builds, so like all my passenger planes, or all the modern ones, this one does include flaps. You can see that they are the exact same trifold Fowler flaps that the 737 and 747 uses. Here, I'll sort of take a quick brief trip over here, and you can see that they are literally exactly the same as the ones used here, and these are all miniaturized versions of the ones used on the 747. So again, the design was already there. I just copied it straight over from the 737, and yeah, it worked out pretty well. But where the real innovation really took place on this wing was just getting the general smoothness of this. I wanted this to be completely tiled. Now, I did have to have these two studs here. Those hold the brick on side construction in place here. But other than that, the thing is completely studs free, and I think it looks absolutely gorgeous. Because you can see over here at the 737, this is what I had before. I had this huge sort of yucky gap going between it, and I was able to kind of hide it under the engine pylon right here. You can see, look at all that. Ugh. That's the structure to help give this a dehedral, and I was able to sort of hide that under the pylon for the 737, but since the 727 doesn't have any engines on the wings, its engines are mounted in the tail, like you can see. Yeah, I couldn't do that, so I had to go through a lot of different ideas for how exactly I could hide those hinges and everything, and this thing does have a dehedral. It's very slight, and I will be working to try to make this thing more noticeable, but yeah, I think it worked out really well. The challenge here, though, was since the bricks are on the top, having it hinge, we had to have the hinge in here somewhere. So I ended up using those mixel ball joint technique things. But since they were towards the bottom, these wings tended to warp a lot. They wanted to sag down. So that took a lot of engineering to try to figure out how to get those to not sag. And I think it worked out pretty well. Again, I'm very, very pleased with how the use of these new 2x2 tiles turned out. I think those worked out really well for the use case here. And yeah, I'm actually very, very satisfied with how this turned out. The tips of the wings are on. I think these look a little bit better than the tips of the wings over on the 737. You can see these are sort of blocky and everything. But yeah, the general design is the same from this plane. A lot is being copied over from the 737 over here to the 727, especially the fuselage and nose. So I know we're talking about the tail here, but I'll sort of go a little closer in depth on the nose. Yeah, it's basically going to be the same as the 737. I know a lot of you don't like that nose, but too bad, because that's what I'm using. And it will be modified a little bit. I will be making some changes to make it look a little bit better. So yes, it will be improved, but generally it's going to be the same nose that's on that one over there. So this was the Boeing nose. You can see it's, blah, blah. So after the wing, I have planned to do the fuselage. So obviously the fuselage will be built on top of here, and this will be tan on the top, red on the bottom, and there will be white stripe going down the center. That's the Southwest Desert livery for the 727s they used to operate. And I know a lot of you are going, what are you talking about? Southwest never operated 727s. Actually, they did. In a period, I believe, from in the 70s and 80s, they did operate 727s. So we're in the clear for that, and this is pretty exciting. Again, I'm really satisfied with how the wings turned out. They turned out really, really well. I was actually really concerned about this area here because I knew that this would be the trouble spot on the plane. The other trouble spot that will probably be on this aircraft will be in the tail, trying to design those correctly. But this was actually like a trouble spot. If I didn't solve, the plane couldn't be built. So now that we have wings, they actually turned out pretty well. I will be moving on to the next part of building this plane, and I will try to keep you guys a little bit better updated. I know I have not been super active on YouTube. I have been active over on Flickr and Patreon. So if you want to go support me on Patreon, then please be sure to go do so. That really helps the channel out a lot and helps to be able to build these planes. But yeah, I hope to be able to post some more updates on this project and on the 787, because the printed parts are actually being shipped back to me right as I speak. So hopefully I can get you an update on the 787 pretty soon here. So that's all I really have for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you back here pretty soon. That's it for this video. Bye for now.